Welcome to the SoBeing Podcast. Human doing, human being. Because we need both. We need to be and do. Only listen to this podcast when you can safely close your eyes. If you're operating heavy machinery, driving a vehicle, doing anything that requires your attention, come back to this. There are eyes closed, hypnotic meditation processes during this podcast. Only listen when it's safe to relax completely and make changes deep down inside that last and stay with you. SoBeing Podcast, Episode 8. This circles back around to the first step, which is only the first step in a way of giving them alphanumeric numbering, labeling, having to present it in a certain order. Releasing and letting go, feeling good now, consciously creating the future. Because like I said right back in the first episode, which was about creating a clear mental image, and last week that's what we were doing too, chunking and creating a timeline with clear mental images, plural, numbers of them, visualizations of you doing and taking action in order to achieve and succeed. And then sometimes, whilst planning out the future, a limiting belief, a block, a doubt, a worry, a negativity may be there. You may notice, and if it is, you know what to do with that. Either spit the feeling away, silence the internal dialogue, white out the imagery. And today I want to share with you another way of changing the way you experience, particularly something like a memory of an event, which can cause an unpleasant future response in the present and in the future moving forward, as opposed to good feelings in the future moving forward is what we want, good feelings in the future moving forward. A long time ago, a friend of mine had an accident on a bike in Thailand and relived that experience with vivid detail. The image of the bike accident happening in slow motion with her there skidding on the bike, the sounds of brakes screeching and people screaming, the sight of blood and the noise and the whole intense experience, as you can imagine, is hugely unpleasant, especially when it kept popping up back into her memory. Everyone was fine in the accident and everyone is okay. And at the time it was a really unpleasant experience. And if you remember it in that kind of clear detail and with such big body feelings and intense internal dialogues and sounds, and represent it with clear images, moving images, where you're right back there in that memory, it's going to seem like a really big, scary thing. And having that just keep popping up in our mind was way too much. And now that you can see the process of what's going on there, listening to me talk about it, in that there is somebody bringing to mind big screaming sounds and screeches of engine, great big bright imagery in their mind in slow motion of a crash happening and blood spattering, that creates a really unpleasant body sensation. And from the first 3 episodes about releasing and letting go, we know that that big unpleasant body sensation is a sensation that starts somewhere in the body, moves to another place, tingles, and is a feeling you can take control of, spin the other way, and remove. The internal dialogue that is loud, you can turn quieter, move off into the distance, slow it right down. For people having difficulty sleeping, the internal dialogue really fast and really lightly in their mind can easily be solved by slowing down and having some yawns and really relaxing inside that tonality, and helps them to drift into a deep restorative sleep. Same with the images, whiting them out, pushing them off into the distance changes the way we feel about them. And today, if we look at the way that this person was experiencing this unpleasant thing, big bright images, loud sounds, unpleasant body feeling, right there, as it happening in slow motion in her mind, skidding across, seeing what she was seeing. Now, an interesting thing is to step back from that so that you see that event taking place instead of being right there in the ride, in the front seat. You step right back and see that happening and have that imagery smaller, maybe even on a television screen, with a border around it on this screen, watching that event happening. And that lessens the intensity, the unpleasantness of the feelings disappear. And then to imagine that television screen, or cinema screen, or theatre stage with a board around it that you're seeing this old memory on, is something that you can watch yourself sitting down on the sofa or in the theatre seat, viewing this thing, the memory of the accident on the screen. And from the back of the room, you can see yourself sat in a chair, watching a memory of that old experience there. Now, if you have an old memory or an experience that you respond to with a fearful, unpleasant, anxious, worried kind of sensation and fear, you can place that on the screen and see yourself watching that screen, and noticing how different that makes you feel. And as you take the colour out of the image on the TV screen or theatre, black and white, you can see how differently it feels. And you could imagine running that sequence of events backwards like it was on a TV and playing it in reverse, so everything goes backwards. And notice how different it makes you feel when you change the way you view that old experience as something that you can view from that non-attached point of view. And by stepping out of a memory, you release and you let go of the unpleasant fears. And sometimes stepping out of an unpleasant memory or experience like that gives you space to use the quietening internal dialogue, whiting out images and spinning feelings away. Because if they're really big and intense, sometimes grabbing the control levers of the feeling and spinning it the other way, changing the controls to push off into the distance, make black and white disappear in the distance visual imagery, and quieten the sounds and the internal dialogues. When they're overwhelming, sometimes it's easier to step out of that experience and see yourself watching yourself in that old experience in black and white, and feel very differently, such that if you need to, you can clean up anything that is left with spinning away, quietening, and whiting out imagery, such that instead you place your attention now on the thing that you were limited or blocked from achieving in a clear set of images in the future, and allow your unconscious as you sleep and dream now, and as you relax, and as you deliberately visualize parts of the future you hadn't even thought of, and allow ideas to pop into mind that become clearer and clearer, that ideas and wonderful stuff out into the future. You set your mind in that direction. Now, take a deep breath in Hold that breath. Hold it. You know what to do. Be ready to notice the good tingly feelings as you breathe out. Tingle. And take another deep breath in. Deep into your diaphragm. Hold that breath. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Get ready to sigh and really relax and release as you breathe out. Yeah. With an ooh and a tingle at the end helps to create more good tingly energy as you relax. Just simply closing your eyes and taking one more deep breath in. And hold that breath now inside as you think. Breathe out. All the things that were holding you back. Breathe out, relax, and know that in the future you are more well equipped than ever before to release and let go of any of the things that have held you back and any of the things that you noticing in the future that are getting in the way of you having more and more of a perfect day. Each and every day should be more and more perfect and wonderful, and something that you share the wonder with the people close to you as you enjoy the places that you're in, with the things, doing the activities that you enjoy now. If there is any old thing that you used to noticing that was holding you back, or something that pops to mind that does occasionally get in the way, today, inside your unconscious, simply imagine that television screen. And on the screen, you can noticing that old thing that used to get in the way in black and white. Today, as you sit on that chair, watch that old TV screen, and you can imagine being at the other side of the room looking at you, watching the TV screen, and as you see yourself, or as you just imagine what you would look like if you could see yourself watching the television with that old limiting belief in black and white. Feelings gone now as that image goes off into the distance and you float up, leaving that old black and white TV set gone in the distance. You can more easily immerse yourself in those wonderful and deep feelings of gratitude. Tingle as you reorientate your mind for what it is you do want, whilst noticing around you the cool stuff that there is. The activities you do that you enjoy doing, and the people and the places, the lifestyle you are working and achieving and creating more of, manifesting that desire into the future, becoming visions into reality. And as you notice how good that makes you feel, and how wonderful it is to have a good feeling, and to spread that throughout the day today and the days ahead, feeling good. It's a good place to create the future from, and it's a good way to enjoy the day and the moments in the day that are the only things that are real. The memories in your mind are just thoughts of things that have passed and are gone. The future memories you have are just visions of things that will come to pass, and some of the things that aren't good for you that won't. The only thing right now that is now is now. You feel this present moment and enjoy a beautiful state of mind and body, and have all of the most wonderful and positive feelings with this moment right now. that is the only thing that is there. Now, with the blissful, relaxing knowing that that's all there is, and there's so much more to enjoy and explore as you go forward. Having all of those wonderful imagery and visions drawing you forward, and enjoying where you are effortlessly now. Into the future, cast your mind, the good feelings, and the internal dialogues and sounds that are exciting as you think of a thing in your future that you want to create and shape and bring to life. And as you do, think of this wonderful goal or highlight on your journey. Now, you can see yourself right there in big, bright, colourful imagery, doing the things that get you towards having and achieving more of what you want, as well as seeing the steps on the way to that highlight, smaller little wonderful highlights that feel good of you doing and achieving and succeeding at certain things on the way. Now, as you see those steps out into the future where you're doing things either clearly right now or more and more the more you think about it and allow your unconscious now, and as you sleep and dream tonight, to think on and present wonderful new ideas of how you can have more and more of those things, those situations, those experiences with the people and the places. That's right, out there into the future, becoming more real with the effortless flow state and action taking that you do as you move towards the future now, and now the present now the present. You can visit inside your mind one of those moments in time that are the first few steps on the way to achieving from today this goal in the future, this highlight, the first few steps that just begin to tickle the excitement. And as you visit in your mind these first few achievements and successes on this journey that is attaining your well-formed outcome, intention, goal, the highlight clear in your mind, and these first few steps you can see behind that moment back to the present where you've done and achieved and taken action, done certain things to get results. Now, looking forward, somewhere in the middle of having achieved this wonderful highlight, the intention you set. And at that point, you can visit in your mind halfway to the intention or the beginning of the intention, the marker on the continuing journey, halfway to this highlight, and looking around, seeing the world, noticing the things that allow you to feel so good right now about knowing how close you are and how far you've come. You can see another highlight, a 3/4 way or close to highlight that you can visit now. Being 3/4 of the way, almost all the way to have achieved this intention, this highlight, this goal, this marker on your continuing journey, you are close to seeing the success of the first part of this intention and journey. This wonderful thing that makes a big difference for you. Now, feel even more excited as you look back down the timeline and see how far you've come. The future drawing you closer as you float up into that future, into the moment where you are effortlessly enjoying the sweet success, effortlessly enjoying that delicious feeling of reality being the way that you imagined, or maybe better, different now, as you allow your unconscious, both now and as you sleep and dream and meditate, relax and go about your day, to come up with new ways and new solutions and extra things that you can do to make it sweeter, softer, more exhilarating, beautiful, relaxed, and all of the things that are important to you. Now, from this future moment, float up way above your timeline, looking down at that present future moment and the future's future and the future's past. Now, as you allow yourself to take a deep breath in, feeling yourself back into your body, another deep breath in. Hold that breath, breathe out, and remember to step out of those experiences that used to hold you back. See them in the distance as though happening to someone else. Imagine watching yourself responding to seeing it happening on a screen in black and white, and noticing how different that makes you feel, way more empowered over that old situation and thing that held you back. Instead, focusing your mind on what it is that you want more of now. In next week's episode of the podcast, that's what it's about. Right now. Having more in the right now. Now. That's next time. Have an awesome week. This is John Vincent.